Welcome to Battle Streams in Middle Earth, and welcome to Damian's hobby vlog number 47. It's the start of a new year, I promise, and we are up and running. Oh yes. So yes, welcome indeed to Battle Streams in Middle Earth. This is our channel where we try and help the hobbyists of the world to clear your backlog, to take that massive pile of opportunity you have and get it painted. And we kind of try and do this in two main ways. The first of these is that we have a series of live streams every couple of weeks. We do a live stream when we look for an issue of DXD's Partwork Battle Games in Middle Earth, and we all hang out together, normally on a Friday or a Saturday night, and paint around a given theme. So whatever came with the magazine, when it was Moria Goblins or Aragorn or a Dwarf Captain, we all paint that same thing, and we normally get kind of 50 or 60 people hanging out, painting together and giving away some prizes, that sort of stuff. So that sounds like something you want to get involved with. Go and have a look at our live tabs. There's over 100 episodes there that you can kind of catch up on if you've got forever. And the next episode will be coming soon. The other way on this channel I try and do this is by logging my own journey, my own yearly challenge to kind of try and clear my backlog. And I do that with these hobby vlogs that follow my journey. And for me, it's a very exciting time. It's the start of a new year. I said at the start, this is hobby vlog number 47, and I'm guessing it's 47 because as of right now, let me give you a bit of an update. It is Monday the 20th of January. And I say it's number 47 because I think it is, because as of right now, I've published hobby vlog number 42. So I'm recording what I think is vlog 47, and only 42 has been published. So I've got another 4 vlogs to publish before you have a chance of seeing this one. And so so that's kind of the wacky nature of recording these things sometimes. But I think this will be 47. Apologies if it's not. And this, for me, is my first vlog of the new year. This is, I know, looking at the backlog of editing, I think you're going to be seeing this sometime probably towards the end of March. Might even tip into April, who knows. But for me, this is my first vlog of the new year. It's my first project of the new year. And it's the first thing I've filmed in 2025. So from me, from current Damian, Happy New Year. And this vlog is going to launch my, as much as it might be coming to you in March, this is the start of my 2025 projects. So what are we going to be doing? Well, I am kind of finished on what I was doing before, which is kind of cool. I've got nothing hanging over. Just in there, you might be able to see some little signs of, just down there, of the birthday party. The last kind of real project I vlogged about was my Throne of Skulls project that then went to the league finale. That's not for me. Where I did the Bilbo's birthday party. And obviously that was finished just before December, so I think it was finished on like the 29th of November or something. And I haven't painted anything since then. So I haven't painted anything. It's been 7 weeks since I've touched a brush. I had a wonderful kind of almost hobby detox over Christmas. I wasn't in any way worked up or kind of uninterested in it. I just felt like I'd done 3 months of hobby in November, frankly. So I just kind of had a bit of downtime. I spent some time with my family, which was lovely. But now, January 20th, I'm looking to kickstart my hobby for the year, and this vlog is going to follow that first adventure. And that adventure, and many of the adventures of this year, is going to follow or deal with this. It's a good box. Like so many of you, I picked up my War of the Rohirrim books. My good lady wife got it for me, and it's awesome. I'm so into this. I've got the book out here, the little scenario book to kind of have a flick through and all those. I love War of the Rohirrim. I'm gonna unapologetically say it. I don't think a lot of people would be surprised. I'm a kind of super positive people. I love Middle Earth. I'm a super positive people. I'm a super positive person, and I just love Middle Earth, and I love playing in that sandbox. So I tend to really enjoy anything in there. But I'm going to see War of the Rohirrim first at Harry's a private screening before the league finale. It was great, and there was an awesome event to see it with everyone. And I was just a bit confused. I came out going, oh, I don't know what I think about that. And then I managed to catch it twice more in the cinema, and the second time I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. I think the fear of the unknown was gone, and I loved it. And the third time I loved it even more. It's now out. We've got it on Amazon. I've watched it, and I really like it. I think it's great. I'm really happy it exists, and I'm glad I like it because now I get more excited about all the lovely models that we've got in here. So I think it's awesome, and my a large part of my hobby year. I would have kind of mentioned some of this in my kind of hobby, 2024 hobby review, 2025 hobby goals vlog, but a large part of my year is going to be dealing with this box. I'm a big collector. I'm a big fan of this game, and there's a new starter box. There's no way I'm not getting it. But this one genuinely feels like this is going to be a large part of my projects throughout the year. So I'm really excited to kind of get stuck into this box and work my way through it throughout the year. And just open it up, and it does smell so good. There's a whole load of plastic in here. I've also got my little blisters in here. I've got like helm in here and stuff. So all my War of the Rohirrim stuff basically is in here now, which is really exciting. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be cracking on with. And for me, the thing that really excites me is the Dunland half. It's the evil half. So that's what I'm going to be getting stuck into. I've already got a massive Rohan army. I think I've got something like 30 riders painted and 36 warriors. So as cool as the new models are, I'm not dramatically interested in painting up a new Rohan army. Whereas I never had a Dunland army. I never had any wild men for my Isengard army. And I was just super excited by these models. I was really keen to do the Dunland half to begin with when it was announced. And then every model they showed, I loved. So when they first showed Wolf, I was like, that's awesome. And then when they showed the starter set, I was like, that was awesome. And then Freka and Thorn and Shankrot and the Troll, I was just like, these are all great. These are all awesome. I want these in my life. And I've also got a load of Crebain, which can be used in the armies as well. So that's super, super cool. So I'm really, really excited to get stuck into this. And that's what I'm going to be following for, I don't know, somewhere up until April, I think. I'm going to be working on evil stuff from War of the Rohirrim. So I have to see what we get on. But as ever, we need some targets to aim for. We need something to work towards. And my first target of the year is going to be Will's 7th City Grand Prix. That's the first event I'm going to. I've never been before. I normally go to the Warhammer World GT, which is around the same time, and so I normally can't get to both. This year the GT is in March, and it falls on my daughter's birthday, so I was really excited to be able to go, okay, I can't go to that, but I'm going to go to the GP for the first time instead. So I'm really, really excited to get to that event. Massive, massive event, and very much a bit of me with the kind of pod formula, where you end up on day 2 playing with people of a similar kind of style of army, type of gaming outlook to you. I think that's really cool, and I'm really, really excited for it. But what do I take? Well, fairly obviously, I'm going to take the Dunlendings. I'm going to take the Hill Tribesmen. I'm going to take the new stuff from the box, and it was going to be a great way of getting my paintbrush motivated. But of course, as ever, time is against us. As I look at it now, 20th of January. I've got 5 weeks. I've got 5 weeks to the event, which is already scary. So you'll be pleased to know, as much as you will have seen some vlogs dealing with Damian's stress in 2025 already, the first actual hobby vlog of 2025, Damian's already up against it. Damian's already stressed about his painting. So I decided, I hoped I'd have a bit more time to do this, but we are where we are. We're 5 weeks away from the event. And in front of me, I have got this. So we can see Wolf and Targ, they are assembled, they're cleaned up, and they've got sand on their bases. And around here we've got one sprue of the Hill Tribesmen. We've got 12 guys around there, all assembled with sand on their bases. They're ready for spraying. I'm going to show you these models once they're sprayed. God knows you will have seen them in enough videos, and most of us have got them anyway. But I won't dwell too much on them right now, because I'll talk about the models in detail, but just suffice to say, I think they're awesome. I think they're absolutely beautiful. They're stunning, stunning, stunning models, and I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into them. So I had to pick an army. Obviously, my first thought was just to go. I had the Freka blister and I had the Thorn blister, and so my first thought was going to be Usurpers of Edoras. So I wrote a list for it. I can't see any way that I'm going to get more than 12 guys done. So the list was something like Wolf on horse, Targ on horse, Freka, Thorn, and 12 of those guys, and then the rest Crebain. It's a 600-point tournament, so I'm gonna use my Crebain to just fill up points for events where I don't have anything else, and that was going to be the army. And then a magical thing happened which changed all that, which was, it's the 20th of January now. Let me make sure I get the dates right. Last week, which would have been Saturday the 18th, I believe. No, Saturday the 11th it was. Saturday the 11th. Is that right? Yes, Saturday the 11th. The Troll went up. So Shankrot and the Snow Troll went up for pre-order. So it was announced the week before, which I guess must have been Sunday the 5th, that it was going to be up for pre-order. It went up for pre-order on Saturday the 11th. And so suddenly, quite unexpectedly, I was like, oh, that means, you know, as I sit here now on Saturday the 20th, it should be arriving sometime next week. So from the 27th onwards, basically. And I wasn't necessarily expecting it to be out. And I was like, oh, hang on. Oh, if the Troll's out, I could use that. And so I wrote up a Besiegers of the Hornburg list instead to see how that would look at 600 points. And that one I don't have to speculate about because I've got it on my list. I've got it on my phone, sorry. And the list at 600 points for that is Wolf on horse, Targ on horse, 10 Hill Tribesmen, 8 Crebain, and Shankrot on the Troll. And so it's basically these guys. I don't need 2 of them, but I still think I'm going to paint 12. The Troll and the 2 Orcs, and then 8 Crebain. And I think it's rubbish, don't get me wrong, I think it's absolutely rubbish, but I don't care because if anything, this is the great tournament to take rubbish to because you get put in a pool with other people who've also bought rubbish. But I'm really excited to use the Troll. I think the Troll's awesome. I think Shank and Rot's rules are really, really cool. So I thought it'd be mega fun. I've got a plan for later in the year to use the Usurpers Veteras, but I thought this would be a really good fun event to try out the Besiegers of the Hornburg list. So that's the plan. That's the army that I need to build, and that's in 5 weeks. And my hope is this hobby vlog covers that period of time. So that's my army, and that's what I've got to get done. So I've got to get these guys painted, 2 heroes foot and mounted, and 12 warriors, and I've got to get the Troll and the 2 Orcs painted when they arrive. And obviously, like I say, they're not here yet, so we're going to get stuck into these first. Once I finish this intro bit, I'm going to take these out, and I'm going to spray them, and I'm going to start painting on them. I am worried. You'll be delighted to know. I think a lot of people would think that 5 weeks is enough to do this, but the rate I paint, I don't know. I'm also slightly dubious about these guys. This isn't a kind of B-Sign rush job army for me. This is an army, this is going to be my main primary army for 2025, and I want it to look really nice. And there's loads and loads of details on these, so I'm worried about how long they'll take to paint, if I'm absolutely honest. But my plan is, I'm going to start off doing Wolf. I'm going to do Wolf foot and mounted. Let's say he takes a week. I'm then going to do the 12 Wildmen. Let's say they take 2 weeks. I'm then going to do the Troll and the 2 Orcs. Let's say they take a week. And then I'm going to do Targ. Let's say he takes a week. And that's my 5 weeks. That's my crazy plan. Whether or not I can paint any of those things in that time remains to be seen. The reason I'm leaving Targ till last is because whilst I think this model is absolutely awesome, worst comes to worst, I'm just going to take him on foot and take an extra Crebain. So that I can drop a 20-point horse to have, you know, if I really get to the point where I haven't got time to paint him foot and mounted, I can just paint him on foot and put another Crebain in. So that's the reason I'm doing it in that order. And of course, in the middle of all that, I've also got to find time to kind of clean up and build the Orcs as and when they arrive. But I'm sure that'll be fine. So yeah, that's the plan. A 600-point event. And I guess what's 8 Crebain, they're 20 aren't they, so 160, so 440 point army, I guess, to paint in the next 5 weeks to get stuck into my War of the Rohirrim box. And oh, thumbnail, stuff writes itself, doesn't it? Classic O'Byrne rule, the thumbnail has to be in the video. Yeah, that's the thing, and I am both nervous and really excited. I can't wait to get stuck into a brand new army project. It has been a very, very long time since I've been painting the new toys when they're new. Like when I didn't do Iron Hills when they came out, and I didn't do you know, many of the new heroes when they came out over the last few years. I didn't jump into Angmar, I didn't jump into the new Dale stuff, you know, at the time. And I honestly think the last time I was painting the new releases was for Desolation of Smaug. When that stuff came out, I started painting up Tario and Merked Ranger straight away and getting on the hype train. And I haven't been able to do that for years. And so I'm so delighted that we're here at the start of a new year with a brand new edition of the game based around War of the Rohirrim, with all new models, and I'm painting it and getting involved in it and playing with it. And I'm so excited. whilst being a bit nervous. So then that's what we're going to cover. We're going to get there. We're going to hopefully get all that done, and then the vlogs will keep rolling out. I don't want to give too much away, but then after the GP there'll be another vlog adding more to this army for another event, and we'll go from there. So yeah, there we go. Place your bets. Can Damian get these guys and 2 orcs and a troll that as of yet he doesn't have painted in 5 weeks? Let's find out. Okay, so it's the night after. My models, as you can see, have been sprayed. Other models are available. They've also been sprayed. And it's time to start painting. And after a bit of consideration, I'm going to start with the big guy himself. I'm going to start with Wolf. The reason for this is, frankly, I'm kind of scared of painting the Wildmen. I don't really know what colours I'm going to paint them or anything. And so rather than get stuck into them and potentially get it very, very wrong, I've decided to get stuck into this guy whose colours don't have to match anyone else, and so I can just kind of have fun with him. So here he is. I love this model. I think it's absolutely stunning. I'm not convinced my head's in the right place. I never felt the head kind of lock, as so many of the parts do when I was assembling it, but I'm hopeful that it'll do effectively. I think the pose looks all right. It's in about 1 million pieces to assemble it together. I think the horse head is like 4 pieces alone. It's just crazy. And he took me about an hour to assemble, but he's all good. I've just realised there's a crack in there. Oh, that's annoying. Do I bother to green stuff that? Probably not. But it is in the it's in the golden angle, isn't it? I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm probably not going to do that. I think. I don't know. That's so annoying. But yeah. The rest, I was going to say the joys are pretty good before I start talking about that. If you look around the horse, there really is no sign of where those joins are. And he's pretty cool. So yeah, I love this model, and he's the leader of my army, so I think it's kind of fun to start a whole brand new army project with the most important model, in a way, so that's cool. And then this is the foot version that I'm going to paint at the same time. You got any disastrous armpit holes? He's alright. There he is. Loads of detail, super cool. In terms of his angle, this is the kind of pose that a lot of people saw on the website and didn't like. Again, I feel exactly the same about his head. I'm not convinced his head's in the right place. I've lent him back a smidgen. If you look here, and you see where his foot joins that rock and where his foot joins his rock, you do have the flexibility to basically put the tip of his shoe about 2 mil lower. You can kind of pivot, basically, so the shoes can like lean forward. And when I was looking at it, I just think, to me, that looks better than the leaning forward pose. So I just lent him back just a smidge. Kept him on the tactical rock, but just lent him back just a smidge. So I think just for kind of photography and for a lot of angles, he just looks a bit better there. Not quite jumping forward as much. But yeah, he's a cool model. I'm not as keen on the foot one. But I wish he was the kind of silhouetted pose you get him at Edoras, where he's kind of pointing as they're all kind of attacking Haleth and that kind of thing just before he shoots him. But I think he's cool. I like him. I'm looking forward to getting stuck into him. The last thing I wanted to show you is this. Oh, this is funny. If you look at his base, he seems to have a kind of lake on it, or a piece of frozen ice or something. There was one of these holes on it that was empty, and I normally put sellotape on them. And then put sand over it. And last night, for whatever reason, I didn't have any sellotape, and I had it was just slightly thicker masking tape. And so I put that down, glued sand over it, and the square was sticking through. Like, the tape was so thick that you could actually see a little raised square. And it was exceptionally late at night, and I was about to go to bed, and I thought, I need to spray these tomorrow, so it needs to be dry. So I couldn't be asked to get my PVA glue out, so I got the nearest glue I could find to me, which happened to be a little tub of Gorilla Glue, poured that on, and then put sand over it. As it turns out, Gorilla Glue is significantly thicker and goopier than PVA glue, and is dried solid to make this kind of puddle effect, which is quite annoying. Looks like amazing ice, but I'm not really going for that effect. So what I'm now going to have to do is get some PVA glue and put more sand over the top of the glue that I used to fix the glue that was underneath it. So I'm going to have to fix the thing that I used to fix the thing. So I'm going to do that, and then just splash some white paint over that, I guess, to base case it. But yeah, then he'll be ready to go. And I am excited to jump in. Okay, so next up, it's General Targ. So we have General Targ on foot, who I think is pretty damn awesome. I think a lot of people think he's awesome in the film, and he's the voice of reason for Wolf, and I think the model's super cool as well. He's got this kind of weird bent back shape that I was kind of half convinced I'd done wrong, but there doesn't seem to be anything you can do about that. He does seem to be properly arching his back. It's a huge cloak, which is kind of magnificent. Yeah, and as I've been agonising with so many of those, do you dry brush that or do you pick them all out? I think for the sake of a hero, you pick them all out, but it's going to be hellish. But he's really nice. Loads of lovely detail on him. Very, very different face and different haircut for Middle Earth, but I think it's cool. And lovely detail on the kind of hand to be pointing. And then I have potentially my favourite model from the starter set, which is Targ on horse, which I just think is awesome. This horse is just magnificent. Absolutely glorious. Looks chunky. I really think it's taken them 25 years, but they're kind of making horses that feel like they're the right size now. They feel like they're to scale. It might even still be a little too small, but he looks so much better on this thing. It's an awesome, awesome horse. Again, think about the fur. Think about picking all the fur out here and all the fur out here. So much fun. And a great, great pose for Targ. Again, had exactly the same thing I had with Wolf. With both of them, I was like, is his head in the right place? And I truly don't know, but I just got to the point where it looked like his head was all right. I'm not sure if it's in the right place, but it did look like it worked. So yeah, there's General Targ. Excited to get stuck into him, and we haven't got much time left, but let's see how we do. Okay, so it's update time, and I think it's 2 evenings later since I recorded the last clip, but here is Wolf, and he is now fully base coated and shaded. So I've chucked all sorts of things over him. It's going to be very hard to kind of show up here, I think, the kind of difference, but yeah, he's got a dark brown horse that's then had a kind of black wash over it, that's got black hair with a black wash over it, a grey cloak with a black wash over it, dark brown kind of fur with brown kind of wash over it. But overall he looks very, very black. and the reason is the model is very, very black. He's a guy with black hair, with black leather, with black cloak on a black horse with black fur and black hair. And then I've enabled a bit of red in there and enabled a bit of green in here. For the trousers, so I kind of like the idea. I will knock the green back by the time it's finished, but I just do like the idea that there's a little touch of green in there, which kind of hints to that kind of Rohan heritage. And then similarly here, exactly the same with the foot model. There we go. The black shading was mainly done with black Templar contrast, so a kind of Corvus black. Is it Corvus black or Corvus grey? I can't remember. Corvus black base coat, and then black Templar to knock that back. But yeah, so that's the kind of the boring stuff out the way, and now I get to get stuck into it. I do love it. It's a lovely model, and I would love to agonise over it and spend time with it. But as it is, because I'm under such time pressure, I'm feeling quite rushed. I'm kind of nervous about this because it's kind of like painting Gandalf the White in reverse, where you've got to distinguish between so many different shades of white, and here you've got to try and distinguish between so many different shades of black and grey. And yes, and I've got to do it twice, obviously, because he's photomatic. But no point worrying about it. I'm going to get stuck in and see. It is currently Friday. What's the date? It is Friday the 24th of January. I honestly think if I can get this guy finished in a week's time, that would be pretty good going. So kind of week for the highlights or something. So we'll have to see if I can get it done. I think that's Friday the 31st. If I can get it done by then, we'll be doing well. And that will probably be my next update. Let's go. So, time for a bit of an unexpected update. I am, of course, in the middle of painting Wolf. He's got his base coats done. I was about to start working on some details. And then today, a very unexpected treat arrived. This arrived. I've obviously talked about this at the start of the vlog, but it's currently Saturday the 25th. It's release day, and this turned up today, which I was really excited about. I'm very, very surprised by. I wasn't expecting it today. Generally speaking, when I've got new releases recently, they tend to be dispatched on release day. So this was a real pleasant surprise. And it comes in this awesome new War of the Rohirrim packaging. And it is, of course, Shankrot and the Snow Troll, which I was really, really excited about. So these are turned up. Now, obviously, these, as I kind of discussed, these are planned to be in my army, so that they're part of this vlog. They were always going to be done, but they're obviously, I was planning on waiting a bit. But as it turns out, these have arrived during a weekend when I have a bit of free time, and I suddenly thought, dare to dream, one of these two orcs could actually be my 48 paint and model within 48 hours model for Hobby Bingo. It doesn't really come up a lot that I get a chance to do this, but when these guys turned up, I was like, hang on, these guys are just a bit of armour, a bit of skin, a bit of cloth. I could do this, even doing a good job. So I had a look at them, and decided that I love that model. Shank is so good. But I decided that the Rot model was potentially the simplest with the least number of bits. And so, here's Rot. I've cleaned him up. I've assembled him. I did a bit of green stuff in. Hopefully it'll look alright. It's kind of around the shoulder there and around the arm in there. As ever, I'm not very good at green stuff. And I put a bit in the gap between the belly and the legs. But here it is. Here is the Rot model that I assembled and hand undercoated because I haven't got time to spray paint him. But yeah, he is ready to go. He's awesome. Really love him. I love this pose of him sort of scratching his head. It's really, really, really super cool. Absolutely love him. And I'm going to try and sort of I've got 2 evenings. I'm going to try and sort of one shot him and try and see if I can get him done in 48 hours. Very, very unexpectedly. Which would be really cool if I do. It'll be fun for Hobby Bingo, and it'll kind of get me on the path to completing my project with completely unexpectedly starting with one of the orcs. So yeah, that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to jump into him and see how far we get. Let's go. 48 hours. Ha! Try 8 hours. Oh yes, he's done, and he's done in a single night. Here he is. His Rot is the day after. I was just filming him, so he arrived yesterday. I think he arrived at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something. I finished him last night. I think I said I was hoping to do him in 2 evenings, and I just sat down for 1 evening and knocked him out. And I gotta say, I'm delighted. I'm absolutely delighted with how this came out. So here he is. I don't really know what to say about him. Obviously talked about him a lot in the clip yesterday, just saying about that I like the pose and all that. But just some metals, like base coated as normal, and then highlighted up with Runefang steel, probably, or Iron Breaker, and then shaded back down with Agrax and Rakes and Flesh Shade stuff to make this dirty armour. A little bit of fur, wasn't too complicated. And the skin, I wanted him to be a bit greyer, if I'm honest, with a green hue, and he's ended up green with a grey hue. I can't remember who it was. Someone said he looks like Shrek, and I can't now unsee that. But it is what it is. There's only so much I can do about that. But I was really pleased with him. I'm happy. Let's try and get the light in here. Happy with how the face turned out. Try and get in there. I think that all seems pretty good. All seems to have come together well. And I just loved him. I really enjoyed painting him. Some lovely details on the buckles, on the back of his legs. Really, really pleased with how he came out, and super, super pleased with how Cookie was. So, yeah, Rot is finished, and that is my first Besiegers of the Hornburg model done. That's my first new Dunlop model. I don't know what I would have thought it would. I would put good money on it being Wolf or a Tribesman at the start of the year. I certainly didn't expect it to be Rot. But he is done and finished, and I can tick off my 48-hour bingo box. So that is absolutely awesome, and I'm delighted. This has given me a really good buzz and a really good push to help me keep working on the project as we go forward. But of course, for now, all that excitement needs to die away, because I've got to jump back into all those other models that I haven't painted and I need to get done for the GP, which I believe is now in 4 weeks' time. So, yeah, wish me luck, and I'll hopefully come back with an update as and when Wolf's finished, maybe, but we'll see. Okay, so it's update time, and it has been a while. It is currently Wednesday the 12th of February. I believe the last thing I filmed for this vlog was on Saturday the 25th of January, which is when I finished Rot in a single night, and I was really happy. So it is now 2.5 weeks later, and we have some progress, but my goodness, we don't have enough progress. So it is, as I said, it's Wednesday the 12th, which means we have 9 nights to go until we have to leave for the GP. So bear that in mind as I show you where we are. And the good news is, Wolf is finished at last. Now, first caveat, I say Wolf is finished. You'll notice Wolf's base is not finished. Wolf's base is nearly finished. A little bit more work on that. The shield's done. A little bit more work needed on the wood, and obviously the base rim and all that. So whilst the model painting is finished, the base is not finished. But here he is. Here is my take on Wolf. And I have to say, I didn't... it's a tricky thing to kind of say, really, but I didn't enjoy painting this really at all, particularly at the start. But I am quite happy with the results. I truly can't remember what I said in the intro because it was so long ago. But I was worried about the fact that he is depicted as effectively all grey and all black, and so I'm pretty happy with how I managed to pull these bits apart. So He's got a kind of pale grey shirt in there. Picked up. I was happy with how the details came out. Lovely detail sculpted onto it as ever. On these new plastic models. And his trousers, I went for a green. They're still kind of grey and black, but they've got a kind of green tinge to them. Hopefully you can see that coming through there. Kind of Rohirrim-y, but it also just breaks up the model a bit. And then his cloak, I went for the darkest black. You can't really see the contrast on the cloak at the moment. I think it's because it's being bleached out a bit, but there are kind of subtle shading layers on this, which I was pleased with. And then again, down here, I think I've gone a bit brighter than the model, but I went and looked at the artwork, and all his greaves have a kind of red leather type approach. So for his gauntlets up here, and his greaves, I went for this kind of red leather, which I was pleased with. I couldn't really tell you what colours I used on this because I just kept mixing up various shades of grey and green and everything, knowing that he didn't have to match anyone. I couldn't work out what this is. Does anyone know? Is it meant to be a scabbard for his knife, or is it meant to be the eyeglass that he takes off Hera? I don't really know, so I tried to paint it as something kind of neutral, and quite nice to be able to do a red insert on the cloak to kind of break it off. It's a nice kind of backdrop for him. And I was pleased with the face. I think the face came out well, as ever. You never quite know until you often see it looking differently when you film on these kind of things. You see it really close up and really large, but looking at that, I am pretty pleased with how that came out. So yeah, really quite happy with him. But he's obviously taken far, far longer than I thought. And the mounted version's done as well. And again, I have to stress, Wolf is painted, his horse isn't. So the horse is not finished. So the horse has had some progress on it. The horse has had a fair bit done to it, but the horse isn't finished. We need more time on that. But Wolf himself is done. So again, let's go and have a look at the face. And that seems pretty good. Looks pretty good to me on the screen. Quite pleased. And obviously all the same colours, like throughout. And I know, like I say, I know I've made particularly his legs a fair bit brighter, but I just think it works. I think it helps to make him pop out from the model a little bit, instead of having all these blacks and all these greys. And obviously I'm still not finished. So obviously you have a boot, you have a greave, you have straps, you then have the trousers, and you have straps around the trousers, and all of that is then set against the saddle, a dark saddle, a dark fur, and a dark horse. So you have all these different bits which are kind of very, very dark black or grey, seemingly, and you have to try and distinguish between them, which I don't think is easy, to be honest. There we go. The horse is having his eyes his flesh painted at the moment. But there we go. So Wolf himself is done, which is great. But wow, we are some way off finishing the project. So like I said, it's Wednesday the 12th. This horse is not finished. And the base is not finished, but I felt like it was time to check in, because I did feel like there was a bit of victory in that Wolf had been finished. Bear in mind that I think when I showed you Rot 2.5 weeks ago, I'd already started painted Wolf, so he has definitely taken longer than I thought he would. But I have made some progress on the other models. Oh God, let's see. So first up we have General Targ, who has had some base coat splashed over him. The main reason for this was I've been kind of painting his horse flesh alongside Wolf's horse, just to kind of hopefully speed things up. So I had to chuck some kind of base coats down on him, like inside the cloak here, so that that messy job was done, so that when I'd painted the horse flesh, I wasn't then dabbing big black kind of undercoats in there. So as you can see, Targ is underway, but the most basic underway you can possibly imagine. And what about Rot's companions? Well, I've now assembled Shank. Here he is in his bare resin form. Assembled him and done some green stuffing around him. It's a beautiful, beautiful model. I love these guys so much. I think if I had to pick one thing of the new release, it might be the Plastic Wildmen, but it's probably these. I think it's probably this box. This box is just awesome. Like 3 super, super characterful models, and I love them. So there's Shank, and of course we also have the Big Daddy, the Snow Troll. Again, assembled now, cleaned up, assembled, green stuffed. I think I went a bit heavy on the green stuff. You probably wouldn't have to do this, but I was kind of like, you know, some of those joins here would probably just look like folds and that sort of stuff. But I was just like, I'm only ever going to get one snow troll. You can only have one in the game. I'm just going to take my time. But a bit annoying gap along the mouth to have to fill in there. But I do think because it's a beard, that'll be all right. It'll just look like the top of the beard. And there's obviously, I'm not sure if you can hopefully see green in his mouth there, because you have to fill in that. But again, that'll be easy to hide just by painting the back of the mouth. But it's a stunning model. It feels like Keith. I don't know if Keith Robertson did this, but Keith did all the Gundabad monsters, and this does feel like in keeping with that. So if it's Keith and you ever watch this, it's absolutely awesome. I love it. And I'm very much looking forward to painting it. I just wish I wasn't under pressure. So that's where we are. What of the wild men? I hear you cry. They're gone. They're abandoned. We're not doing them. When I started this vlog, I had 4 different army lists, like a kind of best case scenario. One of them had 10 wild men. That's not happening. One of them had 6 wild men. That's not happening. And so we're down to an army list for Wheels GP that has 0 wild men in it. So the list is currently Wolf on horse with 6 Crebain, Targ on horse with 5 Crebain and 3 scavengers. So my only warriors are going to be Crebain, which is fun. And even that is under threat. And so I have to paint these 2. The most efficient way of adding a load of points to my army is the scavengers, and I've got rot done already, so I don't want that to be wasted. So I've got Wolf, who's 130 points. These are 150. That's 280, and then I can take 15 Crebain in Wolf's Warband, which takes us to 580. So I can take a 580 point tournament, 580 point army if I don't paint Targ, and obviously I'll be playing 20 points down. No space for an extra Crebain because Wolf's only hero of Valor. So that's the worst case scenario, is that I don't need Targ. So I have to paint these 2. These 2 are a higher priority than Targ, basically. And then, you know, hopefully I'm able to get Targ done. Obviously I can save a bit of painting by just painting Targ on foot. But I think I'd be more likely to paint Targ on horse and just have the foot one not done as well, or something. I don't know. But that's kind of where I am. I'm down to 2 army lists, and I'm hopeful. I'm somehow hopeful of getting these done. I've got 12 nights to go, and Wolf's now done. So I'd say Wolf's horse at max needs an evening, and that's also including doing some on Targ's horse at the same time. So let's say we still need to give Wolf an evening to finish his horse. That's just down to 8 evenings. I'm going to assume that Shank is a 1 evening job. I think I might paint him on Saturday night, just like I did with Rot. Paint him on Saturday 3 weeks later, try and knock him out. So I'm confident about knocking him out in a single evening. So that is us down to 7 evenings to paint the Snow Troll and Targ. So I think base coating the Snow Troll and the rest of Targ is an evening. That's down to 6 evenings, which then, broadly speaking, gives us 3 evenings to highlight and paint the Snow Troll and 3 evenings to highlight and paint General Targ, which might be doable if I really get down to it, I suppose. It's not as much as I'd want. I'd say probably I'd need about a week, so 6 evenings to do each of those things. But it's feasible. I'm not really at the time of work at the time of my calendar either, where I can book a day off, which is all I'd really need. I might be able to sneak an hour here or 2 at lunches when I'm working from home. I don't know. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. That's the big update for the last 2.5 weeks. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited to use them, and I am loving these new models. But in my first project of the year, I am already hopelessly behind and worried about deadlines. So I'm going to head off and get painting. I think I might check in with you on Saturday night or Sunday morning when Shank's done. I think that would be a good point to jump in, a good news story. Shank will be done, Wolf will be fully finished, and hopefully everything else will be base coated. So that's where we need to get to. I'll come and see you after Saturday night, and hopefully Wolf and Shank will be fully finished, and the Troll and General Targ and all that will be at the very least all base coated, which would leave me 5 evenings or so to finish the highlights. So hopefully there'll be a little update then, and we'll see how we've got on. But wish me luck, and I'll see you on the other side. Alright, so it's update time. I think the last clip was recorded on
Tuesday or Wednesday, and I said I was going to come back to you on Saturday night when I had planned to one-shot Shank and paint him in a single evening. Well, in disastrous news, it's Monday night. It's the end of Monday night, so I've just finished painting. And I'm not sure if you can tell from my voice, but I am sick as a dog. But it's Monday night and Shank is done.
Less I know, the better.
I understand that probably looked rubbish. So yeah, I didn't one-shot him on Saturday night. I one-shotted him tonight on Monday night. And the reason for that is that I got stuck into the snow troll over the weekend and was really enjoying it. So I just kept going on that. I chucked all his base coats on Friday, I think, Thursday or Friday, I can't remember. And then I just kept working on him and highlighting him up on Friday and Saturday. So I did pause today because I was like, I really need to check I can do this. And I got Shank done. So I'm not going to show him on there because at the moment he hasn't got his flock down, so he's not fully finished or anything. But what I'm going to do is when he's flocked down with all the other models, I'll show him in detail there. But I'm really pleased with Shank. More on him later. What about the rest of the stuff? So I think I'd said that by this point, which is going to be Saturday night, we'd hoping everything else was kind of base coated. So obviously it's Monday night and I've just finished painting, so I'm about to go to bed. And the stone troll is making really good progress. Snow troll is making really good progress. I'm really happy with how he's looking. I reckon I need about one more evening, another solid like 3-hour push on him, which the plan is to do that tomorrow night, Tuesday night. Then the horses still aren't done. So Wolf's horse and Targ's horse aren't done. So then I'm planning on doing those Wednesday evening. And Targ is now kind of fully base coated and shaded, so he's ready for paint. And I'm planning on doing him Thursday evening, except I'm actually going out on Thursday evening to see a show. So I'd forgotten about that, so I don't have Thursday evening. So I'm delighted with Shank, I'm delighted with the progress on the snow troll, and I think I'm going to get the horses done. But I'm really genuinely worried about General Targ. I just don't think I've got the time to do him. I can't see where it comes from, so I think, as much as it pains me, I think I'm going to be getting General Targ kind of base coated and shaded, good enough for the table basically, and then taking him. I'm going to have to finish him next week, because whilst that's a shame and I hate doing it, I hate painting the rims of models and putting grass on them and taking to tournaments and then coming back and finishing them. I hate it. I've focused on the troll. The troll is like a wonderful centerpiece for my army, and I really wanted him to be good, and so I've focused on him and spent time on him, and I've spent longer on him than I think I plan to. So it's a delay and it's a failure, but it's for a good reason, basically. So yeah, that's where we are. I've still got 3 evenings of work left to go, but I'm pretty sure I can only paint for 2 days, and I need to crack on tomorrow, try and finish the troll, get him as good as he can be. Then Wednesday night, try and finish the 2 horses and do something on Targ, and then on Thursday evening, the tiny bit of time I've got will be spent doing the rest of the base rims and the flock, and there we'll go. So I'll check in with you before the tournament when everything's done and show you the actual finished models and how they look and everything. But we're going to have Targ in the army, so we're not playing 20 points down. We're going to have him there. He's going to be at the event, but he's not going to be finished, so it's 50-50. But everything else, Wolf, Rot, Shank and the snow troll, I'm really happy with. So yeah, partial progress I guess. But yeah, time to go to bed, and then fingers crossed next few days go alright and we get a nearly finished army ready for the GP. Let's go.
Okay, so I think last time I spoke to you, it was Monday night. I had like 3 days to go, and we were going to see how we got on before the tournament. It is now Thursday night. It's the night before we're going to go to the tournament, and I'm going to show you what I've got. So first things first, we've got Wolf. I'm not going to spend too long on Wolf because we've already seen him. But now look, oh, base is done. Yes, he's exactly as you saw him before because he was finished, but he has now had his base completely finished. Well done, Wolf. Secondly, the second most excitingly, Wolf's horse is now done. So again, this Wolf model was finished, so you've seen him. But I've now painted his horse, and I'm quite pleased with this, I think. I quite like the way the flesh has come out there. Lots of kind of glaze layers to kind of highlight it up through kind of Doomball brown and that kind of reddy colour. And then shade it back down Pretty pleased with how the detail on that came out. What a nice horse to paint, as horses go. Seems to come out alright, and I think Wolf looks pretty good on there. So yeah, Wolf now fully finished with the base done as well. Well done, Wolf. Now a couple of models that you haven't seen much progress on at all, if any. First up we've got Shank. You've seen Rot before, but here is Shank in his fully finished form. Really pleased with this. Really happy with how this came out. I think he's an awesome model. I've said already, I think they might be my favourites of the release. I really do like these. Simple to paint. Was happier with his skin tone than Rot's. I know he is still green, but he just somehow looks slightly less overly green. I don't know, it makes no sense to me. I just prefer the green that ended up on his skin. I think he's wicked. I like his halberd. I like his cloth. I like his face. All came out really well, and he was a lot of fun to paint. See there. And I saved the best to last. The biggie, the Snow Troll. And I have to say, so this is what kind of delayed me. This is why Targ won't be finished for the event. But this is the big boy. We're working him a lot, and I'm delighted with him. And that's cool, because this is the most important model in the army, really. But I really, really like this guy. I spent a lot of time on his face, trying to get it right. And I'm really, really pleased with how the kind of tongue came out, how the eyes came out. And the skin overall, the skin textures. Really, really pleased. Just painting. I couldn't tell you how to paint this. Just loads and loads and loads of layers. I quite enjoy painting small monsters, things like this, like ogres, cave trolls, this sort of thing, because you can paint loads and loads of layers and it doesn't take too long, whereas the larger monsters are a completely different beast. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with him. Pretty pleased with how he's come out. And yeah, it's very different colours as well. Doing a troll in these kind of blues, and then kind of trying to work some kind of glazed blues over the flesh right into the shade to kind of help the transition between the kind of the blue scales and the whitish skin. But I'm really pleased with it. I think the kind of brown cloth kind of sets that off nicely as well. I'm genuinely thrilled with this guy. I was really pleased with him. I'm glad I put the time and effort into him. I deliberately tried to make these the kind of spiky bits he's got. He's got them on his thighs and he's got them on his wrists. I deliberately tried to make them a little paler than the other blue scales to kind of try and make him look a bit icy. I'm really, really happy. I think he's awesome. It's a great model, and I'm very happy with the paint job I've managed to get onto him. So I'm really, really pleased with that. So yeah, Snow Troll, Shank and Wolf foot and mounted, all done and complete, ready for the tournament, which is super, super exciting. Unfortunately, Targ, not complete. And here is Targ. You can see that he's still on the paint station. He's not getting the full show off like the other models will, because I'm afraid before the tournament he is not finished. So let's have a look at him. As you can see, I have done the base and I have put the static grass on. And here he is. This is the state he's going to the tournament in. And the horse is pretty much painted. So the horse is kind of done to the same level as Wolf's horse. So he's hopefully looking quite good. Targ's skin is done. So let's go and have a look at his face. I think his face is looking alright in there. Seems to me on the screen. But his skin's done. And his cloak isn't quite done, but it's looking pretty good. This is basically just white with the white contrast. You can see down here where I've had to touch it up, I'll need to do some white highlights. But that at least looks neat. But that's it. Everything else is just kind of based and shaded. This looks very, very black on here. It looks distinctly less black in hand, but he's kind of got dark grey with a kind of black contrast on it, and dark brown with a brown wash over it, and all that sort of things. But just because of the kind of various washes, he does kind of look done. He's not done. He needs a lot more work, basically. But it's the cloak and his clothes that need to be done, really. And then exactly the same down here. Let's have a look at the foot version. Again, I'm pretty happy with that face, do we think? That's not bad. I think that'll do. Pretty cool. So again, exactly the same level as the other one. I just really like that cloak effect. I don't normally paint white cloaks like this. I normally paint brown fur, but this is what Targ has, and I think this has come out quite well, really. So, hooray for contrast. He's exactly the same level, really. There's no really about it. It's exactly the same. So it looks like he could be finished, but like I think I said in a previous clip, he looks like a finished, badly painted model in a way, rather than a half painted model. So yeah, that's where Targ's got to. Didn't quite make it for General Targ, sadly, but it's not too bad. He can come to the page, he can come to the tournament, and then I will do that thing that I absolutely despise doing next week, which is to take a model that I've used at a tournament and put basic materials on and try and finish him off. And I'm hopeful, if I'm really settled down to this, I reckon this is 2 evenings work. I think effectively I could do him in an evening and him in an evening. But obviously I'll paint them alongside each other. So yeah, hopefully you'll get a little update on Targ when he's fully finished, when you'll probably think he looks worse than he currently does. Okay, so time has passed. The tournament has happened. I am back, and I'm delighted to say, boom, General Targ is now finished. I think the last clip you will have seen would be him in his unfinished state, so you'll remember what he looked like. I don't really remember what he looked like, to be honest. So I'm going to show him off. Let's start with one on foot. I don't really know what I did to this. I did it over a couple of evenings, and if I'm brutally honest, as expected, I hated the process. I know I said it before, but I despise... He had his rim done, he had static grass on him for the tournament, and I had to come back and keep painting him. And I hate doing it. I really, really hate doing it. Because I kind of forget where I was, I forget how much I need to do, and all the motivation's gone. But I just tried to stick with it, following the guide, and tried to pick bits out. So, you know, it's hard to remember, but he's got blue trim now around all his armour, which would have been new. All these little... He's obviously had highlights, or at least a couple of highlights on every area. You can see that I've highlighted up the little stitches on his coat here to be pretty light. Showed off his face in the last one, but pretty happy with that. Cool model, lots of highlights down here. Quite pleased with the way the straps came out from the kind of fabric behind them. Really pleased with his coat. I think I said this before because his cloak was pretty much done in the last clip, but it was just contrast white, apothecary white over the undercoat. Now I did have to touch it up, like particularly along the side. I had to kind of pick out a few of those and pick out a few along here where paint had got them on, but that was fine. It kind of worked as a bit of a kind of edge highlight. He also, at the moment, I don't know how it's reading to you, but this just looks like one colour of black, but there are kind of lots of built up highlights on that. It's just black sometimes kind of bleaches out on these kind of things, but I'm pretty pleased with him. So yeah, he's alright. And then here is the mounted version. So again, exactly the same. Everything I've just said is completely true of the mounted version as well. And then we get the horse paint. Excuse me. The horse painted in the same way, or roughly the same way that Wolf's was done. Again, the horse flesh should look exactly the same as Wolf's because it was painted at the same time. But then the kind of the reins and the saddlery and all that sort of stuff, this bone plate, they were all done at a different time. But I'm pleased with him. But I'm genuinely most pleased that he's just finished. That's more important to me, and I think he looks pretty good. But yeah, as expected, I really didn't enjoy the process. I really didn't like coming back to him. But never mind, it's done now. General Targ is finished, which completes my army, my project for this vlog. And what I'm now going to do is head back to the chair and wrap things up. Alright, so there we go. We are done. We have painted what we can paint and we are off to the GP. So, yeah, Wolf, footer mounted, Shank Rotten, the Snow Troll, and General Targ half painted, but as you've seen, he got painted when we got back to the GP. So yeah, this is obviously a bit backwards. Filmed that when I got back from the GP. Spoilers, I've already been to the GP, but you get the idea. And that was my kind of hobby for January and February. It was really good, really happy, really pleased with what I got done. I am delighted with how Shankrot and the Snow Troll look. I'm really, really pleased with those. I think they came out really well. And I'm all right with Wolf and Tar. They're not my best, but they'll do. They'll be fine. And those poor wild men that got that got were planned certainly for the start of it, alas have not made it, and they're not going to be appearing like in the next vlog. They're not next on the table, but they are they are coming for sure, like this year. The plan is that I'm going to need them for SBG for one thing, but then also I've got a plan to use them in an event later in the year. So you will be seeing the Hill Tribesmen at some point, but I'm not quite sure at the moment when they're going to slot into the schedule. So that's pretty cool. So they're done, and of course what we now have to do is we have to check in for the first time this year on our numbers and see how we got on in January and February. So I will start with the buying column. In January I bought Shankrot and the Snow Troll when they came out, and I also bought Hera, Bride of Death. So that was 4 models. I also got hold of Aranath. I got him for Christmas. He was in my Secret Santa, so thank you to whoever my Secret Santa was. So I got Aranath as well. Remember, my collecting and painting year goes from December the 25th to December 24th. So Aranath was there, and I also got, and this is kind of cool, I got one single Mordor Orc from Phil Beale. And that's very important. And so that was 6 models, and I didn't get anything in February. So January and February I got 6 models. I haven't sold anything, so it's all down to what I've painted. And what I painted was, in January I painted Rot, and in February I painted Wolffoot and Mounted, Targfoot and Mounted, Shank and the Snow Troll. So in total I've painted 7 more of the Rohirrim models in January and February, and 1 more model that was the Orc that Phil Beale gave me, because as B-Slime historians will know, I used that Orc. It was a very specific Orc I needed, and I used him to make my Guritz conversion for battle streams in Middle-earth. And I have to say a thank you to Phil Beale for giving me the Orc, and I have to say a massive thank you to Michael Haskell, who gave me the conversion sprue for that stream ages ago. Michael will probably let me know in the comments because he's got a much better memory than me, but he gave it to me ages ago, sometime last year I think, because I knew that I was going to be doing this stream and I really wanted to do that Guritz conversion, but he gave me that then, so it was very kind. So Phil Beale and Michael allowed me to make my Guritz conversion, and I think you'll see my Guritz conversion in a couple of vlogs time. But yeah, so I got him painted as well. So we're off to what's below a flyer? We're off to a hoverer, I guess. That we're positive, but we've painted 8 models in the first 2 months, and we have painted. We've bought 6 models, so we are certainly not on track to paint 100 models, and we're certainly not on track to reduce our backlog by 5% with those kind of numbers. So we'll have to see what happens next to see if we have some more success. But all that said, I am very pleased with what I got done. I got heroes done, I got a monster done, and they look good. So no grumbles from me. It was a good start to the hobby year. And so next we're off to the GP. So I'm going to do a review. I'm going to do a review of the event, about how the event went and how we got on, and let you know how Wolf and Targ and the scavengers got on. Besiegers of the Hornburg getting a very, very bad rap early doors in the new edition as being a bit rubbish. I've looked at the rules. I think it's a bit rubbish, but I'm taking it anyway, and I'm sure it'll be a blast. So that's the next vlog you can look out to hear for how I got on at that event. And yeah, and then we'll be back with the next chunk of hobby coming through March, April, May after that. So thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed, please hit the like button, and please, please, please leave a comment down below. It's really important to me. It helps motivate me to keep doing these vlogs when people are commenting on them and engaging with them. Let me know what you liked, let me know what you didn't like, let me know what you think of the Hill Tribes going forward. Are you experimenting with them, and are you getting stuck into this wonderful War of the Rohirrim box this year that I'm really excited about? And if you do like what we're doing here in my hobby vlogs and in the live streams that we're doing every 2 weeks, then please consider checking out our Patreon link. It is really, really helpful. You can get access to our kind of private chat. There's some merch in there, and more good stuff to come as well. So if you are interested and you want to help me keep the lights on, it would be greatly appreciated. And that is that. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Thanks so much for watching. We really do appreciate each and every one of you who watch, and each and every one of our incredible subscribers. I'll see you very soon next time on Battle Streams in Middle-earth.